Hey, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. Today, I will report my topic is all about criterion reference interpretation. When we say the criterion reference test definition type state this type of assessment compares a student achievement to a set of criteria or standards. This norm or criteria is established before candidates being the test. Usually schools or districts set the standard as a percentage. The test score shows how far they progress toward the approved standards. If they miss the mark, they must work harder. Example of the criterion reference interpretation. A good example is measuring your body temperature that accepted normal level is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. If your temperature is too high in comparison, you're running a fever. Criterion reference evaluation are used in school to examine specific knowledge and abilities students have most likely gained. This determines how close they are to mastering a standard. They allow teacher to assess how they can assess student improve the specific. They allow teacher to assess how they can assess student improve in specific areas. Criterion reference evaluation will show you where your learners are in terms of unacceptable for student. Criterion's reference assessment examples includes driving test, end of unit exam in school, clinical skills competency tools, and etc. Now that we know the purpose of criterion reference test, let's go over the features of this assessment type. Number 1, characteristic of criterion reference test. Number 2, types of criterion reference test. Criterion reference test examples. Advantages and disadvantages. Enhance your teaching skill. The criterion reference test is characterized by following. Students are assessed independently. Their performance isn't equal to that of other students. The focus is student learning rather than scoring well grades. The assessment criteria are fixed. It is usually deliver quick result. When we see characteristics of criterion, it is a student are assessed independently. Their performance isn't compared to that other. The focus is student learning rather than scoring well grades. The assessment criteria are fixed at. Number 2, types of criterion. There are 3 types of criterion. Number 1, predictive validity is the degree to which they score accurately predict scores on a criterion measure. And the example of predictive validity is the degree to which college admissions this score predict college grade point average. An example is concurrent validity is a type of evidence that can be gathered to defend the use of the test of predicting other outcomes. It is the parameter sociology, psychology, and other psychometric of behavioral science. Number 3, example of type of criterion, retrospective validity, the extent to which an instrument that purports of measure of particular behavior can be shown to correlate the past occurrences that demonstrate this behavior. Number 3, criterion reference test example. Known example of criterion reference test include advanced placement exam and the National Assessment of Education Progress, which are both standard tests administered to the student throughout the United States. The advantage of criterion reference test can give teachers an idea of how a student is advancing in class. Result from a series of such tests can be used to help students with learning disabilities set goals both on and off their needs and skill. And when we say disadvantage, criterion reference assessment tests show the degree to which a student has mastered a skill. Is that not allow for comparing the performance of students in a particular location with national norms. It is time-consuming and complex to develop. 5. To enhance our or your teaching skill, we must be embrace technology, identify instructional objects or objectives, use cooperative learning, ask about students' experience, meet other teacher, learn to how handle unruly behaviors, take courses, use of portfolios. Type of criterion reference test. Criterion reference tests are mainly of a following types. Number 1, questionnaires and surveys. This could be about the following: the number of children served, the number of children handled by their respective language group, of level of school of parents, expected are on a cycle of 1 to 5 on an observation form of survey, and etc. This information can be scored. And number 2, multiple choice question. In this type of criterion reference test, multiple choice follow a single question. This is only one answer and the score depends on the number of correct answer chosen. Number 3, true or false questions. In this format, a given sentence can either be true or false. The student might be asked to select the correct statement or state whether the given statement is true or false. Number 4, open-ended questions. In this, the student may be asked write a short answer or essay or summarize a passage. It may be also include a combination of different questions type. Criterion reference test example. Regardless of how other students perform, criterion reference test convey a state about how well a student does. Here are a few criterion reference assessment example. Number 1, Advanced Placement Exam. Advanced Placement is a college-level curriculum and examination program offered to high school students in the U.S. by the College Board. Students who perform well in the exam may be given placement and course credit by American College and Institute. A panel of specialists and university teachers in the field of study creates the EP syllables for each of the various topics for the College Board. To earn the certification, a high school course must be audited the College Board to ensure that it meets the EP curriculum and outlined in the board's course and examination progress. Number 2, National Assessment of Educational Progress. The National Examination of Educational Progress NEEP as the most comprehensive and globally representative evaluation of what students know or can perform in the variety of topics in the U.S. NEEP is a federally mandates initiative run by the National Center for Education Statistics or NCES, which is part of the U.S. Department of Education Institute of Education Science IES. The NEEP findings are published as the Nation Report Card and should give growth level data on a student accomplishment in several topics. Individual, pupils, classroom, and school have no result. Gender, socioeconomic class, and intensity are among the demographic groupings for which NEEP gives findings. Advantages and disadvantages. The criterion reference test has the following advantages. Number 1 is specificity. There is a defined goal that's being evaluated. A single item corresponded to the particular aim, and there's no ambiguity about what you're being tested on. This also makes this reliable. Number 2, topics expertise. Criterion reference evaluation help students do well in academics by tracking their progress. You can customize test item to meet specific requirements. You can assess the student knowledge and understanding of the issue using a criterions reference test. Number 3, controlled on a local level. In most cases, this tests happen in the classroom so that teacher can quickly determine the student have met the standards and plan the next of action. A few drawbacks of criterion reference assessment are: many instructors and administrators are undertrained so that they can maximize on test result. Some tests can be time consuming and expensive. They cannot be generalized beyond a certain point. A student may take undue by gaining freer access. And that's all my report about the criterion reference test. Thank you.